Right, next one up, Rob Engl from AOC is updating the Roslin kilns. Yeah, that I think.
Hello, this afternoon I'm going to present a brief update on the post-excavation works surrounding the two kilns excavated in the course of mitigation works on land on the northwestern edge of Roslin, Mid-Lothian, during the summer and spring of 2020. Unfortunately, the pottery report, which is a large part of this project, is still being worked on at this time, so only the most general information can be given, I'm afraid. However, we do have some interesting bits that we've got out of the post-ex. There we see the initial mitigation works on site, which included a metal detecting survey and an evaluation through trial trenching. The latter revealing a single feature in the form of a large pit. After discussions with LCAS, further mitigation was required, and this consisted of a programme of strip map and record around the pit, which was expanded, as you'll see there, to take in an area approximately 1,125 metres square. This revealed two kiln features and two associated spreads of redware medieval ceramics. These were situated within the lower lying ground at the foot of a ridge, and you can just see the ridge there going north to south. There's a plan of the excavated area. Now, the full excavation of the initial pit revealed it to be a kiln, and you can just see that. But anyway, it's that one there on the left. This was a kiln. It was pear-shaped in plan and measured 4 metres in length east to west with a maximum width of 2.4 metres north to south. The main body of the kiln appeared to be revetted into the ridgeline. A stone surface was found at the base, which provided a solid base for the firing of the kiln. There was charcoal flecks in the clay deposit which lay directly above it. You can just see that on the bottom one. There is it under its stages of excavation, and there it is fully excavated. So, as the topsoil strip progressed eastwards, two deposits were encountered underlying a buried soil, probably an old agricultural soil. These contained large quantities of redwares. The dump to the north, which you'll just see there, was heavily concentrated and probably represents one initial dumping. The southerly one, though, appeared to have accumulated rapidly within the top 10-15 centimetres of the deposit, and probably was repeated dumpings over a fairly short period of time. In addition to the redware, there was a lot of kiln mining material, consisted of fired clay with organic matter impressions, and you can just see the outline of the most southerly spread there. The removal of the and there's the concentrated dump to the north. Right, the removal of the southerly spread revealed a second kiln feature. This was again pear-shaped in plan with an overall length of about 5 metres. The kiln contained two deposits with the upper fill containing a mass of charcoal. You can see that in the middle there, the thing, and a large amount of dumped redware. Recovered from the main infilling deposit. This included the remains of at least 3 redware jugs. You can see that. Quite nice. Okay, so a bit of a close-up. You can see they're strap-handled with basic incised decoration. There's the kiln under excavation. And there it is post-ex. Now, the two stones in the centre we think are kiln pit props, or kiln props for the roof of the kiln. Nothing survived structurally. There was no stone that you would normally get in these kind of things. So, do these kilns both have the same function? Well, initially we thought they were both pottery kilns, both, associated with maybe separate deposits of pottery. However, as you can see from here, our one is at the bottom. This is the initial kiln, sorry. The bottom right there, lower right. It's very similar to ones excavated at Capo in Perthshire, and the top one there is Stenhouse. The Stenhouse example was actually found in association with pottery kilns, medieval period pottery kilns, and is described in the record as a corn drying kiln. There's no obvious reason why they can't do both, or in fact more than one. Whatever the respective functions, both of the kilns at Roslin were purposely sited on the periphery of the borough, close to fuel, water, and in the pottery kiln's case, clay. Though the source of this was not obvious at Roslin, we didn't find any pits. The numerous 19th century brickworks in the area show that clay was abundant within the locale. The co-location of pottery production with other rural industries, such as ironsmithing and grain production, is noted within the archaeological record, mostly in England. Indeed, at Roslin, we got quite a lot of vitrified material, such as ironworking residues, coal and charcoal. These were recovered during the excavation, largely from the spreads of pottery. Unfortunately, none of them can be directly related to the use of the kilns. We got quite a few radiocarbon dates. These were gained from birch, alder and hazel, so all locally available. 3 mid to late 15th century dates were retrieved from the infilling deposits of the corn drying kiln, with the pottery kiln shown in earlier use, most probably from the mid 14th century to the very early 15th century. No evidence of stone construction was observed within the firing chamber. Back a bit. But you can see it had a single flue, a stoke hole, which is at the top, and they're kiln props, we think. They're not very nice, but they are positioned in the right place. The presence of the kiln props suggests that the kiln was probably covered with a temporary clay dome and functioned on the common vertical draft principle, which today there's about 3 talks mentioned the vertical draft principle. The kiln is a variation of the musty, strangely strange name, but there you go, musty type 2, which is found in Scotland at Rattray, Stenhouse and Coulston. A large amount of ceramic material was recovered from the secondary kiln. It was probably a lot of waste or misfired material, which was probably dumped there from another as yet undiscovered kiln. I'm guessing that there's probably more kilns in that area. The pottery recovered from both the kiln and the spreads appeared to have been produced a relatively restricted range of forms. These consisted primarily of undecorated strap-handled jugs. This is very similar to the assemblage recovered from one of the excavated kilns at Coulston in East Lothian, and suggests a level of regional manufacture at an industrial scale, probably for a particular market. At Coulston, 97% of the ceramic material was jugs. The kilns at Coulston were most active in the 13th and 14th centuries, producing gritty wares. However, some red wares were being produced, pushing the site's use into the 14th and possibly 15th century. Therefore, there is some crossover in production with Roslin. It may be that Roslin took over as the primary production site in East Lothian. We'll have to wait and see. Another question is, who initiated and controlled the ceramic production? That never really gets mentioned, probably because the records aren't very great on it. They don't really mention pottery production very much. The kilns at Roslin, Coulston, Stenhouse and Rattray were established on baronial lands. At Roslin, the production was most probably controlled by the Sinclair family. Interestingly, the redware kilns at Stenhouse, near Falkirk, were also situated on lands owned by the Sinclairs. So it shows that pottery production was probably a very important financial concern for this family. Now, pottery kilns of medieval date remain fairly rare within the Scottish archaeological record, with almost all the examples occurring either on the edge of burg settlements, such as Kilns, clay pots near Perth, or situated in more rural locations and acting as production centres for neighbouring boroughs. Examples of this occur at Rattray House and now Roslin. The latter kilns probably supplied red wares to Falkirk, Linlithgow and possibly Roslin, now Edinburgh. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob.